Sports presents Benning Bites with Damon Benning. Benning Bites with Damon Benning.
Another episode of Benning Bites. There's so much that's kind of happening rapid fire with what's going on with spring ball. We talked to Brandon Vogel yesterday, and he said something that kind of caught me off guard just because he's super measured. He's like, gosh, you know what? So many good things are being said, I almost have to check myself in terms of what's being said. And I was like, yes, finally somebody else that has the same problem I do, right? I've been joking for months about, man, I feel like this has been a little too easy. Like, it can't be this easy. And I know, full well that they haven't won any games. But they are saying all the things that I've ever wanted to hear in the last, 25 years about this program. So it's like, is it okay to be all in? Is it not okay? Right now, listen, I'm all in. And I think the win-loss record right now is kind of inconsequential because you can't get to the win-loss deal before you lay a few blocks on the concrete, and they're laying some blocks, right? You heard Ethan Piper say, and I can't remember the exact quote, but he took it from the presser yesterday, and I thought he was fantastic because I think it's really, really hard, especially for younger guys, to say things and not come across as disparaging with the previous staff, but he said something to the effect of, I feel like we've been kind of babied or whatever. I'm just ready to rock and roll. And I felt like there was kind of a lot in there where, real time under the past regime, the former regime, you only have your benchmark. Whatever it is you've been doing feels, for the most part, feels right to you. Right? We work this hard. If I'm tired, that means I must have worked hard, as opposed to working someplace else and then saying, man, now this is hard work. Right? So I think we have to give the former players some credit and cut them a little bit of slack in terms of, because there's going to be this compare and contrast, this natural tendency to want to revisit versus how is this different. And I think it's hard on young people because their barometer was their barometer, right? For 4 years, 5, they did things a certain way. And now all of a sudden it's different. And so you don't want to be disparaging or counterproductive, but there is a natural compare and contrast. We would do that as adults. And the cool thing is administratively they're going through the same thing. Right? Yes, Trev Alberts. Sit him down and say, hey, Trev, what's been different? And he's going to tell you, this staff, Coach Rhule, they have challenged us to do some things differently. They have challenged us to take a different approach to things. And it's been good because I think we needed that, right? Because for a while, you get to doing something a certain way, and you kind of feel like that's how it is. Do you know where it's not like that? And they're always constantly trying to one-up one another? It's in a conference like the SEC, where Mississippi State is trying to outdo Mississippi. Georgia's trying to outdo Alabama. Auburn wants to outdo Alabama. LSU wants to be better than Georgia. Right? There isn't like this collective groupthink where if I'm LSU and we're coming off the Joe Burrow year and we're thinking, oh man, 2019, God, this is how we've always done things. No, you know what they think? Okay, what's next? Okay, where's the next competitor? And I think a little bit of healthy paranoia is good because you don't get complacent. My dad told me for a long, long time, the only thing that grows under still feet, the two things that you walk on, is dead grass. Get your ass moving, right? Like, if you find yourself comfortable, you better move. And I kind of like that because both entities, whether it's actually all three, right? If we're talking admin, the team, and the coaching staff, they're being prodded in different directions. Coach Rhule is used to doing things a certain way. He's got to figure out a different approach that meshes with the essence of who he is. The athletic department has to do things a certain way, but they got to figure out how to grow and continue to do better. The players have done things a certain way. They got to figure out how to adjust and do better or do different. Let's not say better, because again, let's take wins and losses out of it. How to do different. I think it's healthy and it's good. And the quicker that they can all get on the same page, the more movement that I think that you're going to see with this football program in terms of how it stacks up with their record. And I think it's fascinating to watch. And I was amazed. Now, full disclosure, I'm a Piper guy anyway. But it's kind of a tough spot, right? He's like kind of babied or whatever because they didn't really know what work was relative to this staff, not just that they didn't work. So there has to be context. He's not saying that they didn't work. It's now that he has a new baseline for what it means to be worked. Oh, you can go back and say, oh, man, we were a little baby. Because you didn't hear that real time. You felt like, hey, we're doing things. We're doing what's asked of us. And I think that's important. Because no real growth happens until you figure out, first of all, well, number one, you got to know what you don't know, right? That's number one. But number two is when you can take self-inventory and kind of process on the fly, man, that is when the magic happens. Not just, man, I'm tired. It's, I'm tired. But compared to yesterday, I know I got a little bit left in the tank. Or if you're not as tired as you were the day before, is I'm tired, but man, I didn't work as hard as I needed to because I felt worse yesterday. So when you can start processing and taking self-inventory on the fly, that's where it's at. And so I think we got to just take a sec, appreciate kind of what's happening right before our very eyes before we even get into wins and losses, because I think everybody's been stretched. Coach Rhule is probably coming from a place where if something takes 3 weeks to happen at Nebraska, he's probably like, what's taking so long? Come on, Trev. It's been 3 weeks. Like, what's so hard about wanting a new sauna? We don't have a sauna. Like, why does it take us 3 weeks? Trev may be thinking, if we're using a sauna example, it's, well, nobody's ever asked us for a sauna. I'm not sure how to go about getting a sauna, but if you want a sauna, let's take a little time and get this going. And the players, meanwhile, are like, holy smokes, we can sweat out some toxins. We can do that 4 or 5 times a week. Wait. How do we use the sauna? Is it pre-practice? Ooh, that heat may make us tired. Our muscles may get a little lax. Ooh, is it post? Wait, do we have another workout? Do we have to come back in? I don't want to be sleepy. Is it at the end of the night? Do I need to recoup? So I used kind of that silly example, but that's a real example, but maybe not how everybody felt about the sauna. To say the growth and the self-actualization is really starting to happen. Because if you look at way at the top of Maslow's hierarchy, and which starts with like physiological needs and safety, I got to know you're for me. I got to know that if you say we're family, I'm in that tree of trust. And see, what happened in old school was it wasn't really a tree of trust. There was judgment going on. What do you mean you're looking at that Applebee's waitress? That's weird. Wait. I thought we were in the tree of trust. See, here at the university, the tree of trust is, okay, it's different. Doesn't feel great, but since you're for me, gotcha. Let me take some of that self-inventory. And the more you get to that, you get to the top of that pyramid, which is actually self-actualization, meaning you realize what you're actually capable of because all the building blocks below are part of the deal. It sounds like this psychoanalytical babble, right? But I'm telling you, it's the key to what this team needs because they needed discipline and they needed structure and protocol. Not to say they didn't have it before, but they needed something different. if you're constantly losing one-score games over multiple years, you're not close. You're just perpetuating what you've always done. And if you do it over time, you're trending. You're just not going to be a team that wins close games because you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. And in the meantime, falling in love with the process gets lost. That's why you want to get to the self-actualization. Where am I? I feel empowered. Let's go get it. That's where we're at. However you get us, make sure you're a part of it. Google, Apple, Spotify. You can get us on YouTube TV. We appreciate you. Well, no self-grandizement here. We're here to learn together. We need you. 888-638-4876. Fantastic show coming up. Give my partner a follow at Andrew Rogers TV. It's Coffee and Cream, and this is another episode of Benning Bites.